This is very important in reference to many things of importance, in reference to history of things. In reference to the internet, there needs to be like a calendar that needs to be put on a website. In reference to where my parents said I was supposed to be at during what seasons of what months. Okay? Of course, that schedule might change in the future, but maybe not, probably not, based on security. But in reference to information, the mansions of my mother and father that I am supposed to be at. My parents had a schedule of mansions that I was supposed to be at during certain months and certain time acknowledgments. That has to be advertised in the newspapers and on television. Like somebody could do a news broadcast saying, well, he's supposed to be at this mansion during this month in this city and state, or in this other city and state. That is a must. It is very important, M-U-S-T. Do not misrepresent. Basic information. It needs to be on documents. Like I'm supposed to be at my mother and father's mansions in Colorado, or in some other city and state, during certain periods of time during the year. That has to be advertised in the media, and the government has to get sued for blocking me from my mother and father's mansions. Or in reference to new mansions. I'm supposed to be in certain cities and states and certain places at certain times. And in reference to security, that might change in the future. But in reference to, it might not either. But in reference to the information, it has to be advertised in the media. I'm the only child of my mother and father, and I'm supposed to be at my mother and father's mansions. And all these men thinking it's funny playing this game when they used to kidnap me and they were holding me hostage when I was a little boy in different cities and states. These government people. When they were holding me hostage and they kidnapped me, I used to have to scream and cry, telling them I wanted to go home to my mother and father's mansions. There is records of that in some police reports too. And records of court cases. So why are these people still blocking me from my mother and father's mansions? We need to name an identity of every single person that's blocking me from my mother and father's mansions. That is an obligation. It needs to be advertised because people need to know who these people are that are blocking me from my mother and father's mansions, and people blocking me from my accounts that my mother and father gave to me. I'm the owner of everything of the estates of my parents forever, no matter what anybody says. Anybody want to go to court about it? Go to the nearest court so we can find out who you criminals are.